real estate related. So tonight, the presentation really focuses on a project that we've started. The title of it is Rogers Road, the actual property. And CanDream is the company that Kemba and I established to begin our endeavors in development and development of land. So tonight we're focusing on this very specific project here in the Brampton area. So it's in the GTA. And, definitely feel free to ask us questions in the chat or find out more. We are, we're hoping to, of course, we're hoping to, give you enough information here that you will see the benefits of investing in land development to build passive income. Kemba?
Oh, okay. So tonight we're going to cover a few things. We're going to talk a little bit about ourselves. So some of you may know us, some of you may not. So we'll just share a little bit about who we are, why we selected Brampton for the investment, and why we think it's an amazing place to invest and to build. The current state of the project and what the property is. We'll cover a little bit about what we plan to do with the project and how we are going to increase the value, increase the usefulness of this property, because right now it's not really at its highest and best use. And so we're looking to do that. We'll cover the concept plan. So you'll get to see a bit about what the draft drawings are and what we're going to be putting on the lot. We'll be showing you the investment opportunity, how you can earn while you sleep. And so we'll cover that a little bit. Next steps, how you might want to get involved, and then our contact information and appendix. So it's going to be a jam-packed hour, and hopefully you enjoy the presentation, you learn something, and then you would like to take action and do something with us. So
absolutely.
Get started.
So as you saw, Kemba greeting most of you, you are familiar and you know us somewhat, but just to give you a quick synopsis, we are professional real estate investors. That is what we do. We have built multiple businesses in real estate, including this one that we're discussing tonight. And the one that sits behind us in the backdrop, our Keen Real Estate Group. But our strategy has always been at the outset the buy and hold, where we focused on purchasing properties and holding them for the long term. Specifically, our acquisitions were primarily through multifamily. Today, we've built a $15 million portfolio that spans not just here in Canada, but the United States and into the Caribbean, where we're originally from. So we are now focusing, however, on land developments. And as I said, and Kemba's pointed out, this is what we're focusing on tonight, specifically in the Brampton area, one of the projects that we've started, and we're very excited to share with you. Kemba? So not just did we choose Brampton because it is a great place for many reasons, but I'm also from Brampton, and I've been in Brampton for many, many years myself. And I've seen the city change dramatically over the course of the past 2 decades. And so really, it's a place that welcomes newcomers to Canada, especially many immigrants that are coming in from Asian countries. We have a strong economic, growth here in Brampton. It's definitely, one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. I can remember back to when, we were like just probably like a couple hundred, not even 100 something thousand people. And where I currently live and have properties were just farmlands that I used to come up in university to do a lot of my astronomy because the fields were open and wide and the skies were clear and beautiful and you could capture the constellations and stuff. Well, that is no longer the case because the city has grown so much and changed so much in the past 2 decades. So that I believe too right now, Kemba, I could be wrong, but our numbers is probably more like 700,000 in Brampton. And definitely, when you look at all of Peel, the population is huge. There's a large large number of people. So Brampton has grown and seen strong growth in the past 2 decades. It's a great location. It is, I mean, right next to the airport, to Toronto, and it's really well situated. I mean, I have a lot of short-term rentals in the Brampton area, and for whatever reasons, I think it's largely because of the price point in terms of stays. But I get a lot of people coming to Brampton for stays, and I keep saying to them, "We're not in Toronto," but they're like, "Yeah, no. I want to be able to see the city and get to Niagara Falls and get." So it's well poised in terms of vicinity to all of some of the major places that people like to get to and see. It's as I said, it's been growing. The population has like quadrupled in the time frame that I've been living in Brampton, and so a excellent place to develop land, excellent place to buy and own, because you will see strong growth in value in those properties, and they have absolutely. I have still about four properties in Brampton since I started buying, and the price points have changed substantially, and that's what we're expecting that we'll see also with our Rogers Road development.
Mm-hmm.
Like strong price, strong appreciation. And despite, all the changes in the past, I would say 8 to 10 months.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And, with that growing population brings the businesses, and, Brampton is a headquarter for many businesses, and downtown Brampton is just booming with even universities coming in. And it's just a fast growing community and city. So it's a great place to be for sure.
Yeah, and even the existing colleges that are here, and they've added to multiple. That's another, factor that attracts a lot of immigrants and a lot of individuals, whether they're staying long term or they're just coming in for school. And then there's, Sheridan College, which has just grown and changed so much. So that near Sheridan College and Shoppers World, those corridors have grown and changed substantially, to meet the changing. The changes that is happening in Brampton.
Mm-hmm. And so in terms of what the project looks like right now, or what the property looks like right now, it's on Rogers Road, as we mentioned. The current state is it's a single family lot. It is, it's almost like a small cottagey looking house. It has a detached garage and a detached shed at the back. Lots of space. It's a pie-shaped lot, so the front is narrow, the back is wide, and so that gives a lot of land in that shape. It's close to downtown Brampton, as we mentioned. Easy access to Williams Parkway, which is the major intersection. Williams Parkway and Main, actually. It's close to the 410, the 407, or the 401. If you can think of the position, I think everybody who lives in Toronto knows where Pearson Airport is. And so from this property to Pearson is 18 minutes. And from this property to downtown Toronto is maybe about another 20 to 30 minutes. So in total, you may be at 40 minutes to get downtown Toronto. And this is without traffic. Okay, so let's put that disclaimer in there. With no traffic.
Yeah, I mean, but to be honest, Kemba, even if there's traffic, it depends on what time of the day. It's quick. It moves quickly. So I travel frequently each week down to downtown, and it really is about 35 minutes. And I'm a little bit north of Rogers Road, and it's a good 35 minutes because we're typically going against traffic, or the traffic is moving. So it's actually quite, it's quite close to Toronto. And definitely if you're just hopping into somewhere like yourself, where you are, Etobicoke or south, like the Lakeshore area, very quick and close. Mm-hmm. Love it.
And this, where Rogers Road is, it's a very established community in Brampton, just north of a historical district. So it doesn't have some of the restrictions a historical district would have, but it allows it to be close to a lot of the amenities. You can walk to the GO train if you wanted to. You can walk to downtown Gage Park. All these beautiful areas of Brampton. There's so many activities at the downtown core in the summer and the winter, because there's you're just that close to all of what's going on. It's close to schools. As I mentioned, the GO train, and there's the Brampton Transit is maybe a 8 to 10 minute walk out to the main street. So it's on Main Street right there. And then everything that we're trying to do with this lot is aligns with the new changes that our Premier has announced in Bill 23 to increase housing in Ontario. So we know that housing is in demand. Brampton for sure has a high demand for housing because so many immigrants are attracted to it. And so this property really aligns with what the province is trying to do to improve housing. So we'll get into what the future state is going to look like in a minute.
Yeah, and so like the reason we point out all that we do in terms of, you know, what's happening in Brampton, the different businesses, the position and location to major metropolitan areas like Toronto, the airport, is because that all adds to why this property is a great, it's well positioned and in a great place to, to be able to garner significant increase in value with the changes that we plan to make as we develop it. So Kemba's just showing you a map there, really, of where it sits. It's always great. Everyone likes to sort of see and understand, especially if you're into investing in real estate. You want to know where the property or where the house or the land that you're buying sits in relation to the bigger picture. Right. Brampton, most of us know that Brampton is a significant part of the GTA. But when you look at it, where is it in relation to all the other areas that people want to be, right? Whether it's, as I said, Niagara Falls, I think from us here is about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe even as long as traffic is moving, naturally traffic can always add time. It's also close to, places that, like, for example, we invest in other places outside of the GTA, like the Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo area, London, also fairly well situated because we're just right off the 401. And then, in relation to Peel, it's a pretty strong area. So, Kim, I'm not sure why you sort of zoned in.
I had to
just to show all the other major cities.
Yeah, and we have some folks from Montreal joining us, so I wanted to show where this is in relation to Carlene's on the line, and she's just to show her where.
Just so people can get.
Yeah,
so very close to the U.S. border, not that far from the Windsor border. I guess that would put us about almost three hours to Windsor, and so really a great place to sort of look for places to own, develop. Why we chose Brampton for this project.
Mm-hmm. So the future state and what we're looking at doing on the property. So we're looking to create 6 residential units. And to do so, we're going to have to sever the lot. So because, as we said, the lot is quite large, we know that it can fit two homes on there comfortably. So we're going to divide it through the severance process and create 2 lots. What we'll create is 3 units on either side. So it'll be 2 detached homes. And this is just a rough sketch of what it may look like in the future. Our designs have to sort of fit in with the current character of the neighborhood. So these are the beginnings of what it would look like when we get to that point. We'll have a 3-bedroom upper unit, so 3 bedrooms, maybe 2.5 baths, and the basement should be able to fit a 2-bedroom basement. In total, I think we're looking anywhere from 17 to 1850 square feet each side. And then in the rear, there's going to be a garden suite. So I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the changes in building code and building, just because they're looking for so many opportunities to increase housing. Now they've approved the opportunity for, if you have enough yard space, to create an actual house in your backyard that is livable, rentable, a year-round home for someone, or a member of your family, or just rentable space. The property is currently zoned for residential, but as we mentioned earlier with the Bill 23, it allows us to split the lot, because that is what they're looking for, where there's an opportunity to create more out of what you have. This bill is encouraging that. And because the zoning doesn't need to change, that creates a lot less paperwork and need for going back to the city for approvals. Right now, we're only requesting minor variances to accommodate the project. And those minor variances include things like the lot frontage. So there's certain requirements for a lot frontage, a certain width, and we're going to be a little narrower than that in the front, just because, as you saw, it's a pie-shaped lot. And just some of the setbacks we'll be adjusting a little bit. And that'll allow us to fit the 2 detached properties on there. So we're looking at potentially about 6 months to approvals and about 1.5 years for building. So hence why we're saying it's anywhere from 18 to 24 months of this project. Okay, so this is what the lot looks like when we now superimpose the plan on it. What you'll see is the 2 driveways coming in. It will be set back a little bit further than what the current house line is for most of the properties, but not significant. As you can see, it's about, I would say, no more than 4 feet or 5 feet deep into where the other properties are. Then you have the 2 driveways, a garage, and then you have a walkway that takes you to the entrance of each of the units. So each of them will have their own separate entrance. So that gives you privacy if you want it. You can also have, grandma living in the basement or in the garden suite. It's so versatile as to what you can do. If you have any understanding of the diverse populations that come to Brampton, there's always opportunity for people to want to share and to give them a beautiful space to live and have family close by, and everybody in a well-built home that looks beautiful but also houses many. I think that's great. And also, as investors, we're excited about this potential, because as an investor, having the ability to legally divide up a property and have multiple sources of revenue and still live there, this is ideally what this project allows, and it allows you to do it ×2. So both Andrea and I are very excited about it.
Yeah.
We think it's going to be a tremendous project, and we would love to see it come to fruition, and it will come to fruition. We're just looking to see that our timelines are met and everything goes as planned. So in terms of the opportunity, we see the projected cost being about anywhere from 2.5 to 3 million. From what we're sort of discussing with the builders, the 2.5 is very possible. What we've seen though in the market is that there's a lot of volatility. There's supply chain issues. There's just, financing costs are changing rapidly, whether they're going up or down. So we're leaving that room from 2.5 to 3 million to account for just the volatility and what's happening in the market. We've raised so far about 1.3 in mortgages and investment funds. So we've already acquired the property. We own it now. We need another 1.65 million in capital to do the build. And as I mentioned, it's about 18 to 24 months. We're looking for a minimum investment of about 50,000. And the interest rate that's offered is 15% per year, and that will be payable at the end of the term. Right now, we're looking at cash investments, and it's for family and friends and accredited investors. And we can get into sort of discussing what that means if we book another follow-up call with you based on that. But yeah, this is the opportunity. It's amazing. You're getting 15% on your money, and that's how you earn while you sleep. You're really just putting your money to work. while you go about your daily.
I like that. And as a real estate investor, as I said, we're professional real estate investors. We are susceptible to the changing environments. Our income is not always steady. So this is a steady and excellent way to, bridge the gap, to give extras, an extra source of income, a solid source of income that is very well received, Kemba, I would say, by lenders, because they see it as solid income, investment income, right, earned. So it's one of the ways that we've used to earn income over time, right, passively.
For sure. We've invested in projects like these ourselves in the past, so we
I'm still invested in passive investments.
Yeah, and still do invest in passive investments, but it's an opportunity to bring a different lens to it. We're seeing what can be done on properties that already exist, and we're looking to do this more and more because it is an opportunity to change the face of development, bring new ideas to it. Andrea and I have always been discussing, what's our vision for this property if we're going to look into investing, and so we're looking to bring that vision to these types of developments, and starting with Rogers Road.
Yeah, and if you've done investments yourself, or builds or renovations, the excitement, in changing something that did, or producing something that didn't exist before, and or improving something that formerly existed into something amazing, right? And that's what this property is in its current state. Definitely could continue to provide income, but not in the same way will it provide the income that we're going to create through the end product, as well as the significant improved value on this property, right, by severing. So we love that land can be turned into something totally different than what currently exists.
For sure. And so I don't, Andrea, maybe we can give, if anybody has questions, I don't know if you want to put any questions.
Absolutely. I don't think I see anything in the chat as yet, but
yeah, it's a good opportunity to get involved.
Yeah, and I mean, when we say earn while you sleep, this is in the fall, in November, when we held the last event, we had an expert here from a company who shared with us how to invest in real estate in a different way, right, through large multifamily units, like apartment buildings. And so several people got involved in that project because they were just so excited to know that they can put their money to work and not have to have the same involvement that you do when you're an owner of the property or when you buy the property yourself, right? There's a lot less work, it's hands off, and it gives you an opportunity to still take advantage of the great the great improvement that is realized from real estate, right? Even in a down market, even in a down market, you still earn well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nisha has a hand raised.
Hi.
Okay. Hi, Nisha.
Quick question.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Is there an opportunity to have the interest paid on a monthly basis? Because I see it's only at the end of the term.
That's a good question. So when we started out, we felt that it was possible, and Kemba, right, we agreed, we did offer that. The challenge about the monthly that we found is just the management and the distributions. It takes up quite a bit of time. So what we've offered is either to front end payout or back end, right? So you can have it all up front, which you can decide how to allocate to yourself after, or you can have it at the end. The monthly distributions definitely is available, Nisha, and I myself have found that very beneficial at times to take the monthly distributions. But in this case, for us, for this project, the size, we feel that the best option would be to pay out upfront or pay out at the end.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We had two other hands raised. Go ahead.
You can go ahead and I'll go after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, so for now you have the land, so you are just waiting to have the other part of the fund to start?
Yeah.
It's a bit of both. We're definitely moving towards the development and these, but first we have to get the permits and we have to get the severance in order to proceed. But yes, we are raising the funds in anticipation of that.
Okay, thank you.
There's another person. Mhm.
Hi, Nadia. So I think that hit me right into my question. So I know there's a 6-month timeline to the permit approval. Is there a backup plan if the approvals don't come through or they don't come through to how you are anticipating them to be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that Kemba and I would pursue those people that try to say no. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it is a good question, Kemba. I don't know. You can go ahead.
So Nadia, yes, there is a plan B, if you want to call it, in terms of how we'll develop and what we'll do to the property itself. We're in discussion with the builder on that plan B if those permits and approvals don't come through. We have, we understand dealing with cities and dealing with municipalities and dealing with government boards is not always straightforward. This particular project got approval from the city already in terms of the city staff have said that it's a project that they would support. We are working through some stuff with the city in terms of just getting the final approvals. And there is a bit of negotiation to be had. We can update you as to where that's at once we have more information. But in terms of
And Kemba, right now too, Nadia, what we do is the property is still generating income as we speak. So in its current state, it's fully occupied, right? We have it rented, generating income. And we're also looking at, as Kemba said, at other alternatives if we have to, sort of pivot as we've seen through COVID. Lots of times we have to pivot and do something different.
So,
Okay.
and just from the property can be developed into a much larger estate home on that lot with, a lot more bedrooms, a lot more options, but we just don't feel that that's the highest and best use for it at this point. So we're not looking to pursue that. But if it does come to that, we can do an overhaul of the property and then, and that would sell quite well. We don't feel that that's the best use right now. So we're trying not to pursue that, but that is an option. And that would be our maybe plan C.
Yes.
If we go down that path, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question because you said the property is currently the income. So would you tear down whatever exists now, or?
We would take the step of tear down, Carlin, once we get the corporate approvals. Yeah, the severance has to happen before we do any tear down. So there's a bit of a combination of getting the approvals, getting the surveys, getting all the studies that the city is requiring. So there's a list of things that they may require, and then once those are done, and then we start the process towards demolition because we now know we have the path forward.
When do we
and we can invite you, Carlin, to come and just help knock it down.
I was hoping,
People always get excited about the tear down. Kidding.
I was hoping to be with you in Toronto, but plans have changed. But
no,
the
next
question
time.
I have, if someone decide to invest now, I invest now, I will have to wait 18 months or when the project starts. You see?
So it is from the time of investment is when we start counting your time.
Okay.
And we're in the process of doing the work to make those timelines happen, right? So we're not expecting it to go past that. And if it does, we have to come back to you and let you know what's going on, but we would keep you informed as we go. And then sort of work that way. But yes, the timelines are from the time you start. It's not from the time we start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Anyone else? Because we're going to move on. Okay. Okay. Some details about the investment. You know, we've covered that. We're looking for a minimum of 50,000, and you're getting a 15% return from there. It's an annual return. So basically, if you're in for 2 years, you're basically making 30% on your money. And Andrea can cover some of those numbers and what they look like. The investment term, 1.5 to 2 years. We are offering an incentive for those who have capital and they want to put it to work. If you're able to invest up to 250,000, we will offer you a higher return of 18%. So sweeten the pot a little bit. It's really encouraging, you know, folks who are maybe sitting on some equity in their home or sitting on some funds that they just haven't been able to find an opportunity to use to get this money working for them. Everybody's getting their money working for them, but you know, sometimes you want to just encourage that. So the type of investment is a secured promissory note. So, and we can get into details of what that means, but really a promissory note is usually unsecured, where you're giving funds in without the benefit of a mortgage. Through this investment, we're giving an opportunity to say put a lien on the property if you so choose, but we're just asking for negotiating the timeline for that, just so it doesn't impact the financing options we have, because we have certain stages of financing that we're going to be going for, and we're going to set you up to say that if you'd like to have that security, you can do that, but we just need your timing to work in terms of the financing, so it doesn't.
You just said something that I don't understand, Kimba.
Okay.
About the
So,
financing
so
thing.
ask what it is. Ask her, Lynn. Sorry.
I didn't understand the part of the promissory. I know you said you're gonna come back to it, but there's a part that I am kind of lost totally.
So a promissory note is like saying that it's a obligation from us to you. It's a loan. It's basically a loan agreement where you're loaning the funds in, and you're getting a 15% return. So that's what it is. And usually a promissory note does not carry security. So what we're saying is we're working with you to have some security with your promissory note. We're just asking for some timelines to allow for our financing to be accomplished.
Got you. Thank you.
No problem.
And there's just different ways to invest, Carlin, and this is one of them, especially because this is a development project, and you know, and it doesn't come with the same types of regulations and security that other investments have.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have to get, so currently we have a mortgage on the property. It's part of what the financing we raised to acquire the property. But then once we get to the point where we're doing the demolition, and then we're moving into like pouring the foundation. Once we poured the foundation, then we are able to get construction financing to finish the build. And all these stages, like we have to work with lenders, we have to work with everyone to be able to get that through. So yeah. In terms of the interest, as we mentioned, it's either you're getting your interest up front. So if your interest is, and we can go into whatever that amount is, you're getting that.
So if you're getting the 50,000 at the 15% and you wanted it up front, that would be 7,500 up front paid to you. If you choose to have it at the end of the term, then it's after the 18 or 24-month period, you get that paid out.
So meaning, translation, meaning I give you $50,000, I have my 7,500 upfront. Like I give you it back?
Yes, we give you 7,500 back if you choose to have it at the outset.
Got you.
Yeah, some people have a need to have it, and it all depends, right? Because if I'm timing taxation or how much income I earn in any particular year, I may not choose to have that 7,500 paid up front, because you know what, if I take it this year, I may have tax implications on it, right? Where if I defer it to the end of the term, I could time and plan accordingly. And I'm always strategizing, you know, as an investor on what the best timing is for paying my taxes or how much income I want, you know, or need that year. If you need it up front and it makes sense and it works, then that's the option. If not, you have the option to leave it till the end, and it comes into a different tax year in most scenarios.
That's it.
Okay, and just a reminder, it's eligible for accredited investors and friends and family. And as we know most of you on the call, you know, or we just look at your eligibility from another standpoint. So yeah, so here's some numbers. Andrea, you can go through these.
Yes, so we were alluding to the fact that it's really important to understand, especially if you're looking for income and you're looking to earn while you sleep, it's good to understand what that looks like. And so I'm giving the example of the 100,000 because sometimes I think when I first started off, I was like, there's no way it was easy for me to come up with 100,000. So one of my first investments in this type of product, where I put it into a project, is I partnered with someone who was a good friend and family member at the time. And so she came up with 50, I came up with 50 and invested it into a project that was at the outset, we were invested for 2 years and we were earning 15%. We were both excited about that. We hadn't learned anywhere else in all of our lives and our banking experience. We didn't know how to make 15% because everything that we learned before at the bank, GICs or just savings account, whatever we had, even our mutual funds weren't giving us that return. And so we were excited to do that together. What that meant for us was over that 2-year period, we were going to earn 30% return. And you know, for her, the timing was really crucial. She didn't want, we did have the option to take some of the money up front, but she didn't want any of it up front. I needed it up front because I was self-employed and I could afford to take it in that year. So I took the money up front and she took it at the back end. And so we split that 30,000, right? She got 15 and I got 15. It was just at 2 different times. But really, you have the option in our scenario here to either, as we said, take it all up front or take it, you can even split it if you're in it for the 2-year period with us and choose to have half now and half at the end. But the fantastic thing was at the end of it, we were able to get back our full 100,000 and we had a total of $30,000 of income that we were able to generate from that product.
And also, if we can still continue to invest
Yes.
after the term.
Well, what we do, and that's a good point, Carlin, you're like in the train of thought that we are, is that we'll be lining up the next project. And so, yes, in the next project, and what I loved about this investment too, similarly, the product that I invested in, at the end, all they had was another product lined up, which is why I'm still invested, that I can then put it in. And sometimes you're getting similar return, like the 15%, or sometimes slightly greater, because it all depends on the project and the market and what's going on, what they're able to offer. And in some cases, projects often, as they perform and do really well, they can even provide a better return, you know, depending on how, because the goal is to keep our investors happy, to make sure that, like you said, Carlin, that you can come back and do it again with us, because we won't be stopping at this one project. We will be moving on to others.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And as we find
and as well, if you're coming back to this event next month or the next time that we have it, we'll likely be presenting another project. So we do have access to multiple projects. Kemba and I have partnered with others to, we've got projects developing and going on right now as we speak in Toronto. I've also got a couple projects in the Caribbean. And so, yes, there's always somewhere, somehow that you can be invested and generating returns. I know people on this call, right, that I've talked to and said, you can fundraise this way and build your projects so that you can do it collectively and collaboratively. So the bonus, as we mentioned earlier, Kemba was saying that, you know, we are offering 15% for anyone who's investing 50,000 or more. But once you have, because we know that there are individuals that maybe have sold a home or have a home equity line of credit that exceeds, you know, 250, 300,000. And so if they have that large sum of cash, we want to bonus them for considering our project to put that sum of money into. And so if you have and or invest 250,000 or more, and we do have a timeline for that, we will offer the 18% until, Kemba, I don't know, I saw 2 different dates, but today, right now, as I'm looking at it, it's saying until March 24th. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so till March 24th of this year here, when we see someone who comes in with the 250 or greater, we're offering that bonus of the 18% on their capital. And I mean, look at how amazing that looks. The total return to you on a 2-year term is $90,000. That's phenomenal, right? So you've invested 250, and if you choose to have it all paid back at the end, you're going to end up with $340,000, which is just phenomenal. I mean, when I discovered, I know some investors that instead of in fact buying properties and owning them, this is principally what they do, is invest in passive investments like this type of project, and they just turn their money over and over because maybe they're looking to retire themselves, and because $90,000 is pretty much your salary, right? It could be over a 1 or 2 year period depending on where you work and what you earn. So it's phenomenal. It's an excellent way to generate returns for yourself and to have your money working for you, especially if you already own a home or you know someone who owns a home, because you can partner with those individuals to do this. And so, yeah.
I would say, that's how you're able to have your money going out there and work, and you can go do whatever it is you love to do. So if it's
I think, and especially because I do love owning real estate and managing, not managing, sorry. I love owning real estate and, having active properties in my portfolio, but it's a lot of work. And when I think about how I want to do things going forward, I want to do a little less of the active work that I've been doing for the duration that I've been a real estate investor, and I want to find more passive ways. And so that is part of the reason why I have absolutely invested. I mean, plus I'm supporting amazing development projects, community members and community projects in and around where I live, as well as in places that, I am passionate about, like the Caribbean. That's me again. So investing is not something that just, poof, you put your money in and, it just all comes back to you. It's never a quick turnaround. Everything is definitely, it takes time, and you want to make sure too that you're investing. And the reason why we gave you some of the upfront information is we want you to understand that it's important to invest in solid opportunities and investment, in developments that can garner the returns that we're seeing. But if you're looking to get started, the best way to get started is we've got our link there. We've got our QR code that you can scan. Kemba, are you putting the link in the chat too? Just maybe put in the chat so that people can copy and paste it and book us, find out more if this is something that you can see for yourself, or if you know someone that's looking for a way to earn money passively because they've been working so hard for all their lives, and they may have some capital that they can either do independently on their own, or they can partner and do it with you, so that we can review and talk about how you can get started. We'll always recommend that you get independent legal advice, and maybe even some accounting advice too, to make sure that you're timing and choosing the right payout method for you, because it really does matter if you're employed, how you get paid, or if you're thinking of you might be coming into money for some reason or another. I know a few, and I say that because I know someone that I'm working with currently that is coming into an inheritance this year. And so, getting money up front makes a difference depending on what's going on in your personal life. So, and then we can talk about how you can sign on to our LP agreement, get that promissory note. What we mean by that, if you need to ask some more questions, what happens once you've committed and signed on, you know, the transfer of funds. Our company is referred to as Can Dream as we started out. The project itself is the Rogers Road in Brampton. And our goal is to always keep our investors updated, also offer opportunities to come out and take a look at the project, especially at crucial points in time where, for example, once the severance approved, and we're going to do the cutting of any ribbons to say, hey, we're going to demolitions beginning today. You know, we're going to keep you informed so that you can participate in those exciting times and moments. And then, of course, you know, once you've invested, you're going to pretty much just have your money working for you. You don't need to think about it too much or spend too much time on it, because that's now the job of ourselves and the project to make sure that you earn that return. And that's the beauty of passive investment. You really can put your money to work and sleep at night peacefully, knowing that you're going to be able to get that return at the end. It's not the same as, you know, investing in a market that's constantly changing. The return that we promise is the return that we pay.
Yeah. One thing I'd say is, you know, we put the links in the chat. You can use that. You can also just take your phone and scan the code on the page. It's really quick and easy. And it would be great if you're interested in this, you could book a consultation right now, just to have a chat about it shortly after today.
Yeah, go ahead and book us, book Kemba.
So I guess we're at the point too where it would be great if you have any other questions. We'd love to hear from you, hear, you know, your thoughts about the project, hear any feedback you have. We don't want to keep you too much